Hello, welcome back to more Type Over 40 here in Facebook and on YouTube with me, Dan Hadley, the regular Type 40 pilot, and my friend Simon over here. Say hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon. Nice to be back.
We should be in pairs of matching dungarees. Hello, Simon.
Yeah, I guess so. Two geeks together.
Yeah. We're back again to talk more about Doctor Who. Just like last time, try stopping us. Because this last week, yet another of those fantastic big Blu-ray box sets being announced. And this will be the... How many is it, Simon? I've lost count already.
There's 4 out so far. There's another one due any day now. Well, in a few weeks' time. No, it's been delayed, hasn't it? Season 23 has been delayed to early October, as they often seem to get delayed. So about a month to season 23, and then the new announcement now of season 26, the very final classic series of the run.
Yeah, we're going to be. This will be a fifth of our way near enough through the classic run of the box.
Gosh. Is it really? Is it a fifth? Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? I hadn't even thought about it like that. Whoa, that's quite scary. I can't believe we've got a fifth of the run all the way.
So when Russell Minton said that about you'll have a complete collection of these in 5 years, and people were going, oh, no.
Yeah, I have to be honest. Yeah, they're not far off it, are they? Although it still bothers me. I think I'm a lone voice in this, and that it still worries me. I would rather see them with a little bit longer between each release. I'd like to see maybe 3 or 4 box sets a year rather than 4 or 5 or whatever it is they're trying to do, because I still think they're rushing it. I think there are still some serious omissions on these box sets that could be sorted if they just slowed down the pace just a little bit. You know, we're not all desperate. Well, I'm not desperate for these to be all out within 5 years. I'd rather they take their time and get them right.
Because we've talked about this before, haven't we? There was a few sort of key omissions from Series 18. I certainly, the more I look into it and the more the releases come out, I hear more people saying similar things. I mean, the latest one, which I've again got here, Series 10, there was more faults on this, there's been faults on every set.
Is there? I didn't realise there were faults on season 10. Do you know what the faults are on season 10?
Not the faintest idea, but there are faults on every release, and they're coming out late. But they look so pretty, don't they? I mean, look at that behind Simon there.
Yeah, listen, I've got them all lined up here. I mean, this is as much as I'm moaning about what is not on them. Please don't take this the wrong way. I am loving these box sets. They are brilliant. I am made up with them. I'm just sort of finishing off working through season 18 at the moment, because I'm sort of just dipping in and out of all of them, because I am a bit like a kid in a candy store. I don't know which bit to watch, but it's just brilliant. We've all watched these so many times on telly, on VHS, on DVD, but somehow, as I say, as much as I'm complaining about what isn't on there, they are making just a really good definitive set of these, and you really feel like you're owning the full season here. And you're right, they really look fantastic. I'm sorry to the American fans, because the American releases just don't look anywhere near as gorgeous as these box sets do.
They take up less space on the shelf, which I do see a value in myself, as somebody whose shelf space is at the maximum density.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They are quite chunky, but they just look fantastic, and they feel the quality is just...
If there's any series, if you're a big Doctor Who fan, the way that you and I are, this is our thing, this is our fictional universe of choice, this is your thing. If there's any series you're going to want to have looking its best in the biggest, best, beautiful boxes, it's going to be Doctor Who. It's worth setting the shelf space aside for. That's how
exactly
I've always justified it
really
both
is.
To myself and to my loved ones.
But remember that whatever happens, the box sets are still taking up less room than the DVDs for that season were. So you are going to be gaining, ultimately, once they've got them all out in a few years, you are going to be gaining a little bit of shelf space.
Yeah.
But the other thing that really does need mentioning is the quality. And I know there's been sort of question marks that are raised very early on when season 12 was first announced and then released. And people were questioning, was it justified? There were lots and lots of people saying, I'm not buying this because the picture quality simply won't be good enough. Well, I'm really sorry. If you haven't tried these box sets yet, you're wrong. The picture quality genuinely is better. And the reason you can prove it to yourself is you put the Blu-ray in, you go to one of the sort of archive documentaries, as it were, some of the older making of documentaries where they've got clips of the show in it, and you watch those, and then you compare it to the actual episode that is on the disc. And I'm sorry, but the quality really is noticeable. I was watching Legopolis only a few nights ago, and Auntie Vanessa's car, I've never seen it look as red as it does in the episode. And interestingly, again, in a documentary, there's the clip of the car going past on the road, and it's so grainy and dull and murky in comparison. So to the naysayers out there, seriously, you're missing out on the picture quality.
What I did, I've got both a DVD player and a Blu-ray player hooked up to my television. So I put the DVD in one, I put them in the respective machines, hit play at the same time, and flick between the channels to see what the different, to see if I notice the difference. And there is a significant enough difference. I mean, they say that it's down to the compression rate as well.
Compression, that's right. Yes.
Instances where later in the range where they had been remastered almost the same quality, the bit rate means that we're still getting them better. Because I watched all of season 19. I'm doing a complete rewatch of Peter Davison at the moment, and I watched all of the season 19 box set, and after Time Flight I went straight into watching Arc of Infinity, and the drop off in quality between those two releases was, I didn't check the date on Arc of Infinity. Arc of Infinity's got all that beautiful location work in Amsterdam as well, and the quality just goes right down. The colours wash out. And it was like I was watching it in a lesser form. I'm lucky to have these things anyway. Some of them have been deleted, and I've got, God knows, it's a step up from VHS still. I think, God, have I been spoilt by all this? But yeah, now I can't wait for season 20 to come out. I've sort of committed to buying them, to doing the old treble dip thing. And the thought of owning, when it comes to the season 22, all the
20
film.
Yes. So 23 that's coming out soon. Sorry,
of course we've got season 20, but that's the interesting point, though, isn't it? When we get to season 23, that's when they move to shooting it on video, to on film on 35mm, and this is the point where I remember saying to my brother, when they announced this, well, it's only really going to be worth owning seasons 9 through to seasons 22. All the rest of the difference will be negligible. But of course, I'm proving myself to be, go back on my own word here. With season 23 coming out, I'm really looking forward to that. And this week we had the announcement, didn't we, that just before Christmas Eve, I think it's like December the 23rd, that season 26 is coming, as you said. How excited are you about this one, Simon? Because you called this months ago, to be fair.
Yeah, I did, and I had no inside knowledge. It was a pure guess. It just felt intrinsically to me. That's what I would have done. I would have released if it had been up to me. I would have released season 26
is it
next.
Simply because of the poetry that it's the 30th anniversary of it coming? Is it just that, or is it?
Well, no. I think the thing is, just purely thinking from a marketing point of view, it was obvious that they were going to start with colour. It was obvious that the first few releases would be colour releases. Yeah. It would be obvious. It was going to be obvious that they were going to try and dip into each of the Doctors. So they'd done all the. It was fairly obvious that after Peter Davison, they'd do Colin Baker, and then after that they do McCoy. So it just seemed absolutely.
Because every Doctor is somebody's favourite as well. There'll be somebody out there going, when next?
Do you know what? I have to be honest, Sylvester McCoy is my least favourite period of classic Who. But then I've got other friends who are just so excited by this because Sylvester McCoy is their Doctor. They're literally bursting with excitement. And so, if nothing else, that invigorates my excitement then, because actually, you know, you're right. Every story and every Doctor somewhere has got a champion that it's their favourite. And that, of course, is one of the beauties of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think you might find some naysayers who complain, well, why have they put that out? It's rubbish. It's this. How come I can have Battlefield on Blu-ray, but I haven't got the Brain of Morbius? I haven't got the Pyramids of Mars. Well, boo-hoo for you.
Well, I'm sorry.
We've already been through it. All this stuff is coming out now. In the next 4 years, you've got very little time to wait. You've got your DVDs already. It's all coming. So why begrudge other people their pleasure?
Well, absolutely. But the truth of it as well, as I say, McCoy is definitely my least favourite era. But I'm really looking forward to the box set. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to about. I'm going to re-watch all of those season 26 stories with a fresh eye. I genuinely haven't seen them since probably not long after season 26 was broadcast. Was probably the last time I actually watched them, because I don't like any. There isn't a single story in that season I value. Survival just about gets the edge for me.
Emails to Simon Horton at.
Sorry. I can't help it. I just. There's nothing in the season that really gets my blood going. I don't like it.
It's got its own flavour, and it's got its own. It's got its own arc. And so, if you're not committed, if that didn't pull you in, it started in the previous year. So why would you be? But the fact that you're willing to watch it all again with fresh eyes, the fact that you're excited about the content, about what they've done to it, but of course about all the special features. And there's one special feature in particular that you're excited about, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to the John Nathan Turner retrospective. I understand, I think I read somewhere online that it's about an 80-minute. They've really pulled the stops out, as they absolutely should have done. One of the things that frustrated me actually on the season 18 box set, I kind of thought, you really missed a trick here. You should have put a JNT retrospective on here. All credit to them. They've saved it for season 26, which is thinner on the ground from the point of view of the number of stories. So absolutely, it was the right decision to make. And I'm really excited about that. I as you know, we've talked about JNT before. I really respect him. I rate him, even though he made some absolute stinking decisions. I rate him as a producer. And he's just such an important part of that classic run, whether you like him or not. And whether you like his stories or not, his era, it's undeniable that it's an important era. It's a big part of the classic run. So I'm really looking forward to the JNT feature.
I've just realised I was about to say, because this was the end of his involvement with Doctor Who, but it wasn't. He came back and made Dimensions in Time, didn't he? And Dimensions in Time isn't on there, and I thought it would be.
No, the reason Dimensions in Time isn't on there, unless they at some point get a change on this. It's as far as I understand, they can never screen Dimensions in Time ever again, and they can never put it on any DVD, Blu-ray release because of the nature in which it was made. Because it was made for charity, everybody did it free of charge for charity, and so they simply can't put it on a commercial release that would make money. Shame, really.
Is it different with, because obviously you can get the Curse of Fatal Death as a both?
I can only, you're quite right. I can only assume that
it's a registered company that exists without the BBC, because the BBC, Children in Need doesn't exist outside of the BBC, does it?
No, but somebody would tell us probably the correct story on this one. But the way I understood it was that because everybody had done it free of charge, they simply can't commercialise the release, which is a shame, because logically what would have made a lot of sense if it was able to be done, and I understand it probably isn't. What would have been nice is to put Dimensions in Time on there and give, 5% of the royalties for the sale of the box set to Children in Need. That would have been nice. But I understand that it's probably very complicated behind the scenes and they can't do it. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, it's not an enormous loss not to ever see Dimensions.
We'll be getting Search Out Space instead, won't we? That'll definitely be on. So every has a silver lining.
I'm not sure which gets the which gets the Golden Egg Award on that one.
There's also something to be said, though, isn't there? Because you've got the artwork behind you there. We can see all those sleeves by, I think that's Lee Binding who puts those sleeves together. Great digital artist. And the cover for season 26. Like you say, even if you don't particularly like it, it just looks beautiful, doesn't it? It needs to be there. It needs to take its place.
It's funny you say that, because I have to be honest. Because, as I say, McCoy is my least favourite classic era. I'd kind of thought, you know what, I won't be bothering to buy the McCoy Blu-rays. But then the minute it was announced and I saw the artwork, and I thought, oh yeah, how can I not want to buy that? And so, as I say, yeah, I am looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the stories with fresh eyes in the quality that they will be presented in. In this brilliant Blu-ray quality, and I'll start again, and see how maybe I'll love it this time around. Maybe I'll understand Ghostlight in the work print that's on there. Maybe it'll make sense for me.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Not convinced.
Looking into 2020, what do you think's coming next, Simon? What box sets do you expect in the new year?
My honest guess would be they're going to have to do a black and white release. They really need to do a black and white release. Yeah. They've got to do it at some point. Unless, of course, they've decided they're not doing them. But I'm of course they're going to do them. So you've got to do a black and white release next. And to me, the only real logical contender is season 2. Because it's the one that most exists in the archive. I think there's only a couple of episodes of the Crusades. That's the only thing that's actually missing, as I know. Yeah. So that to me is the absolute logical one. Season 1's a pretty good contender as well. Most of that exists. So that would be my guess. Season 2. That's what I'm going for after McCoy. I think
they'll hold back on season 1 until probably the end of the range for the 60th anniversary would be my guess. That'll come out again in some sort of rethought, very prestigious form.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
That's what I would do.
Yes. Well, also, I would wait until Marco Polo's back, because I'm still convinced that Marco Polo is out there.
I'm still convinced something else is actually back. I really am. It wouldn't surprise me.
Of all of them, I don't know why. The rumours have just been so persistent about Marco Polo. I genuinely feel it's out there. Somebody's got Marco Polo. And so, I would like to see that they'd hold on to season 1 for that. Because, boy, can you imagine season 1 being announced with Marco Polo on?
Yeah, if they manage to sneak it back into the archive, get it all cleaned up behind closed doors, and the first thing we know about is it's in that box set.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I'm really hoping that they do with the black and white series is they colorise one story per box set.
Oh, that's...
why not do it? Why not do it? They do the CGI, obviously. Which I have to be honest is highly questionable. I'm sorry,
hit and miss.
It's miss for me, Dan. Everyone, I haven't seen yet any good CGI on the Blu-ray box sets, apart from the ones that were already CGI'd, such as Snake Dance. I mean, Snake Dance is still it's not Snake Dance. Kinder. Yeah. Kinder is still absolutely stunning. The CGI,
considering what it's on.
It's knockout. Whereas you look at the CGI in Legopolis and Planet of the Daleks and Revenge of the Cybermen, I'm sorry, it's not good. I'm sorry, what can I say?
So what makes
in my
you
estimation,
confident and more interested in colorization? Because colorization never really works for me. I appreciate the artistry of it, the dedication, and the feat. Being able to do it is great. But the way I feel about it is just because you can do something doesn't mean you necessarily should. The old thing. And to me, they just feel right in black and white. I can't imagine any reason other than to sort of clap a feat of endeavour. I would watch something like that. But do you feel different? You feel differently?
Yes, yeah, I think I do feel differently, providing it's done well. And as I say, this is where I'm not going to go through this again, but I just really question the CGI, because I really do feel the CGI in some of these Blu-rays is exactly as you described. It's just, well, we can do it, so we're going to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, unless you can improve on it, there is no point doing it. And so far on the Blu-rays, for me personally, they haven't improved on anything. They've just presented some equally cheap-looking effects, just an alternative version. And as I say, I'm talking about the new CGI, not something like Kinder that is old or Earthshock that is old. But when it comes to colorization, providing it's done well, because we've got source photos that exist of the sets, of the costumes, so it could genuinely be colorized authentically. So you imagine something like the Aztecs. There's enough color reference photos out there that they could genuinely, authentically color it as though it had been shot in color. I feel it is legitimate, providing it is done well. And having seen the colorization of The Mind of Evil, as I'm sure a lot of people have, it's incredible. The Mind of Evil was one of my least favourite Pertwee stories, and then when I saw it colorised, it was so brilliantly done. It literally brought it to life for me, and so now I literally love The Mind of Evil, and I realised that it was the black and white that was killing it for me. So we know that it can be well done, as long as it can be done as well as The Mind of Evil, as far as I'm concerned.
And do it carefully, and consider the choice of story carefully.
Absolutely.
That guy, his name's Gav something or other. He's the Mind Robber on YouTube, who puts a lot of the colorization things together. Maybe they get him on it. And if you've got any views about colorization in Doctor Who, we'd be really interested to hear any thoughts on this whole topic. Where you sit on it, we may whack up a poll in the old Facebook group, see how people feel about that one, because I never really considered it until a couple of conversations with you on the subject. But the box set collection continues to roll along. Who knows where we'll be this time next year, eh, Simon? You're going to need another shelf like you got me.
I hope so.
Stick them on the sides. But I'm enjoying it. I have to go back on my word, even though I still haven't bought them. I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll be back for some more, no doubt, Simon, won't we? Trust that.
Absolutely. You try and stop us.
And enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.